The Subnautica 2 First Dive Showcase just finished streaming, and I've compiled that 2-hour stream into this quick video so you can get all the important info quickly and get back to vibrating excitedly in the corner waiting for the game to come out. It also dropped alongside another trailer which I'll be putting some footage from in this video just throughout. They go in depth on two main things in this stream, which was the vehicles and the base building, so that's mostly what we're going to be covering today. First thing they covered was the vehicles. We've seen the Tadpole already, which is the Subnautica 2 equivalent of the Seamoth, and it has a chassis system, and there's the wing chassis, which is all about speed. Or you can have the hull chassis, which we saw in the trailer, and now know the name for it. I thought it was a separate vehicle, but it's actually just another chassis. This one has 2 seats for 2 more players and a 3rd slot for a 4th player to attach to. It also comes with storage. Now here we also get a look at the new vehicle hardpoint system. This allows you to attach deployables to the vehicle itself. So for example, we have the work light, the deployable storage, and the portable oxygen generator. And you can actually attach these to the side of the hull chassis, making customization even more in-depth, just for the first submersible in the game. We also only know of 2 of these chassis so far, but it's obviously a very modular system, so you can just switch them out at will, so there's really room for a lot of customization options here if the devs feel like doing it. They could add even more hardpoint customizers as well. This game has a lot of potential for the things they could do with these 2 systems. They did say though they didn't want to add like 50 chassis and wanted each one to be meaningful, so don't expect a ridiculous amount of them. I think speed and storage are obviously good options as we've seen so far, and I think it would be pretty cool to have like a prawn suit style chassis as well, unless they plan on adding an equivalent as a new vehicle, but we've not seen that so far. I'd imagine there might be a torpedo chassis, for example. They take a tour on the hull chassis Tadpole, and we can see it also has a camera like the Cyclops in the first game. We also got our first real look at the initial starting area, particularly at night with a bunch of plants that are glowing and stuff, as well as a look at various animals we've already seen in the trailers loads of times. They head over to this biome filled with what they called necrolay jellies, which look pretty cool. The lighting in this game is sick, by the way. We also see these currents which can pull you around, which we did see in the trailer, but we didn't necessarily know it was actually a recurring game mechanic. They headed over to another biome. I have no idea what any of these are called, by the way, but this one has another type of jelly called the BFJ. Then they went down into a cave which had a bunch of copper and silver in it, so if you're looking for those things when you start playing the game, just go watch that stream. And in here we find a new creature I don't think we had seen before, which is the Jetocaris crab, which is pretty cool. It has a little leg jetpack thing. Pretty neat little guy. I don't think there's going to be a large submersible in Subnautica 2 by what they've been saying or what we see later in the building section. At least on release, they've stated several times that they do want one in the game, so I imagine we'll find out more later. And I don't think, for whatever reason, that this early access is going to be one that goes on for like 13 years, so I wouldn't worry about it taking too long for all the interesting features to be added to the game. Anyway, the next section was a base building showcase. We got to see almost everything here. We see the habitat builder, and there's a section for standard elements, interior facilities, exterior facilities, utility, furniture, decor, and cultivation. For the base pieces, we have corridors, rooms, hatches, windows, nooks. Nooks? I said that like nukes. Nooks. I can't. Fuck. I can't say the word anymore. I said the word correctly before. Now the word sounds wrong every time I say it. Whatever. There's also half-round rooms, which you combine to make full round rooms, of course, as well as moon pools and standard foundations, as well as something called a Superconduct 2, which is probably like a dev beta test feature we won't see in the first build, given it doesn't even have an icon yet, and it's got like a little exclamation mark on it. If you see those, I think those are all experimental features we might not see right away. Rooms, windows, and moon pools are very interesting though. You can expand them granularly and dynamically to create whatever size and proportion of these things you want, and you can make them smaller as you go. Fully customizable so that you can have huge room-sized moon pools where the moon pool is like a weird shape, and you can have windows that are circular or tiny or long, and whole walls that are turned into windows. You can really just do whatever the hell you want with this. which is really, really cool. There's much more customization than in Subnautica 1, even with the 2022 base update, which added a bunch of the below zero features to the game. And we got a look at the furniture as well. The dining chairs, lab chairs, stools, dining tables, beds, trash cans, crates, signs, and the Leviathan statue, the Reaper Leviathan statue, which you can get if you buy the game before the 25th of May. And a section called tailing furniture with like more primitive coral based furniture like tables, drums, barrels, jugs, rugs. There's also a section for Axum furniture, Axum being the term for like whatever made the ruins in Subnautica 2, and we can see some weird jar type things there as well. We can also see the tadpole dock for the moon pool, which is a separate block, I guess, so you can just make moon pools without docks if you want, just for like basic diving. We get a look at the production tab, which has of course the fabricator, but it also has the new processor, which says it completes complex biochemical and manufacturing tasks over time for more advanced recipes. Very interesting. The biolab is there too. I assume this is part of Subnautica 2's biomodification system and the old, vehicle modification station, which is probably where upgrades like the depth module are made. We see the storage options as well, including the wall locker, the foot locker, a storage crate, a tailing chest, and a wall rack, whatever that does. It looks kind of like the hardpoint system on the vehicle, so maybe you can like stick a deployable storage on there or something, like just as an equipment rack near your tadpoles, for example, so they're not floating around in the water, obstructing the traffic. We also get to see the lighting section with small and large ceiling lights, small and large wall lights, and Axum wall lamps, which we see have a soft yellow glow rather than cold white lights like the regular Subnautica lights. In the interior power section, we get to see battery terminals, power cell terminals, which I think are just the chargers, bioreactors, and power storage. I assume we need to build a battery in this game to store power. We get a look at the cultivation tab, which has the grow bed, which we would expect, though no plant pots, which is disappointing. The plant pots are necessary. How else am I going to put them inside of whatever big submarine you add to the game? And there is the metal farm. I don't know how you grow metal, but it's in the cultivation tab. Plus we get a look at all the plantables, which are probably very useful, but we can't tell what any of them do from just looking at them, so your guess is as good as mine. We get a quick look at all the posters in the game. There is a lot of them, as well as a very quick look at the exterior decor, including wall units, vents, pumps, panels, antennae, and dishes, which is all really great stuff for adding some depth to the builds, especially since the base buildings now are very plain looking because they're so customizable. So once you're finished with like the shape of your base, you can really just go to town adding like antennas and panels and pumps and vents and just really make whatever you want out of your base design. We also see the exterior power section, including solar panels, thermal plants, hydroelectric plants, which probably work using those currents we saw, and power transmitters. There's also exterior wall lights and spotlights, as well as a habitat beacon and something called a current ring, which the description said is artificial current generated by magnetohydrodynamic rings. So maybe we can make like a travel system that would suck us off over the world. I look forward to seeing the I built the longest suck off tunnel in Subnautica 2 video in like 2 years, where someone just covers the entire map in these things and breaks the game. But that'll be really cool for normal people who won't break the game with it. And we see the utility section, which has the deployable items that you can attach to your tadpole, like storages, apparently some planned high capacity variants, work lights, portable oxygen generators, as well as beacons and dive elevators. There's also a placeholder power cell bank, which says it can extend the power capacity of your tadpole, but that's not complete yet. I like this new emphasis on deployable stuff though, it's really cool. We get a look at the divisional stuff, which is like the modular interior wall and arch with doors and ladders, which allow you to customize the shape of the interiors of your rooms and stuff, as well as the tadpole dock and the vehicle fabricator in the vehicle section, which is why I think there's only going to be the tadpole in the initial release version, since they're in creative and they can see everything, and the only vehicles in that section are tadpole related. But yeah, that's about all the new stuff we saw in that showcase. I'm very excited for the release on the 14th. My hype just keeps building and building, especially since the Subnautica 2 devs actually sent me something. If you want to know more about what it was, click the video on screen. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.